Hello everyone, this is PHTV4. I'm Sue Jankowski, and this is the Travel Show. Every month we bring you some fantastic ideas of places to go, things to see, and today we've got a really great idea for you too, and we're going to hear all about it. We always have our friend Kathy James with us from Classic Travel and Worth. Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And she brought with us today Imelda Flores. Welcome, Imelda.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me today.
It's a pleasure. And Imelda comes to us from Mayflower Cruises and Tours. And I just asked her about that because I thought, you know, I know about Mayflower a little bit, but I didn't realize there were cruises involved. So I'm anxious to hear about that too. In the meantime, we'd like to know a little bit about you, Imelda. What's your background? How did you get started with the travel industry?
So I've been in the travel industry now for 30 plus years, which seems like a lifetime.
Yeah.
27 of those years have been with Mayflower.
Wow.
Yeah, so for those viewers that are not familiar with Mayflower, Mayflower is a tour company that offers escorted travel throughout the United States, Canada, and the world. And we have a lot of fun doing it. We really do. We aspire to create tour opportunities to further enrich our lives with travel. You know, it is so important to see the world, right?
Yes, it is.
Yes, so it's a wonderful experience to work for Mayflower, of course. Haven't been there for so long. And share with everyone the itineraries that we offer.
And it's a homegrown company.
Good.
It's right here in Illinois.
Right.
It is.
Right here in Illinois.
Our offices are located in Lisle, Illinois. So, yeah,
that
we're
makes
very
it
close
nice
by.
to
It's super.
easy access to that.
It's super.
For
That's
sure.
great. So, what kind of experiences, I guess, do you specialize in for people?
So I would say that Mayflower, you know, we're firm believers in a seamless experience. You know, we want our travelers to be comfortable from the very beginning and of their interaction with Mayflower. You know, we have our travel specialists ready to take calls, so you've got a live person, you know, in this day and age. It's nice, yeah. And they're just very well versed in all of our itineraries, all these areas that we go and visit, you know, bringing to life all the history and culture that the world has to offer.
And forgive me, I can understand them.
Yeah.
Some of the ones we get, you honestly cannot understand.
Yeah.
I know. And they're trying really hard, and I appreciate the fact that they are learning
trying
English, but it's pretty hard sometimes
To really get what they're
is.
trying to tell you.
Yeah.
That's why I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Where I can.
Yeah.
That's a wonderful thing.
Thank you.
It is.
How did Mayflower get involved in river cruising and river cruise destinations? And that's the thing I was talking to Imelda right before we got started with the show, because I was surprised that you had river cruising. So how did that get started?
So, well, I'll start from the beginning. Mayflower Tours was founded by John and Mary Stacknick in 1979. And they offered escorted holidays. And by escorted, I mean that you have a tour manager with you from start to finish. Okay? And they did that via motor coach throughout the United States and into Canada. Also offered some world programs, but it was by land, you know, so you would fly to the destination and then do your travel via motor coach, you know, throughout the itinerary. In 2008, Mayflower launched their very first river cruise, and it was called the Dutch Waterways. It highlighted the back waterways of the Netherlands.
Cool.
At the same time, Scenic Tours, Scenic Travel Group, launches their first luxury ship on European rivers.
Wow.
So it didn't take very long for Mayflower to start partnering with Scenic and chartering their ships.
Sure.
You know, we were able to fill ships, so it was great.
Growing
you
both
know,
businesses.
exactly. It
Yeah.
was just a growing effort. Through that partnership, Mayflower was then acquired by Scenic. So we added cruises to our name, and Mayflower Cruises and Tours was born.
Well,
That's cool.
That's good.
Yeah.
So it's kind of started in that Netherlands
That's very
area.
We did.
Yeah.
We
Which is-
absolutely did.
It's great. It's a great place
Yep.
to go. So people have a wide variety of things to choose from. I mean,
They
there's
do.
all kinds of, you see the advertisements, or if you look on your computer and you put in, river cruises, you're going to get a whole list of them. But what makes Mayflower, something maybe a little bit different than someone else? Why would people choose Mayflower?
Right. So I think as a tour company, you would find that Mayflower has a true all-inclusive feel to it. We've thought of everything for our travelers. Aside from having a cruise director and an activities manager on board, we do include city stays, city touring. We also have the opportunity for our travelers to maybe the more enhanced or maybe even more active traveler to take part in a different way of sightseeing. So we offer, as an example, bicycles on board, and those are complimentary to them. So if you could just imagine taking a little bike ride, in Amsterdam.
That would be cool.
Yeah, it's very cool. And then, hikes, sometimes even a canoe trip. It just kind of depends on the areas, obviously, that we are visiting. Aside from that, we offer our hometown pickup, which is a great,
Yay, team.
yes, a great benefit.
So you come to their home, take them to the airport.
We pick them up right at their front door, take them to the airport. They don't have to worry about, who's taking me, how am I going to get there, and all of that. We take care of all of that for them.
Really door to door.
Door to door.
I mean, that's really
door
nice.
to door,
Yeah.
absolutely.
That's
absolutely.
really great.
Yep.
And I think that just getting to the airport, any transfers you might have, once you're there, it's really nice to have that. I always call it like a hand-holding, kind of thing. Where
That's a good way to put it, dear.
If you're unfamiliar, especially if you're in an unfamiliar country, you don't know the language, you can't read the signs.
Right.
You've got someone there to help you.
And you have an English-speaking person with you, which is fantastic. And aside from the hometown pickup, you're going to have a meet and greet when you arrive to your destination. They're going to take you, to the hotel. We also take care of your airfare. In fact, on many of our river cruises, we offer free airfare.
Oh, wow.
So Mayflower is already taking care of that, for them.
That's huge.
So it's huge,
Yeah.
especially nowadays, as you know, the airfares into Europe are, can get quite expensive, so they don't have to worry about that. That's already been taken care of for them. We also include, on our river cruises, we'll have some land opportunities at the beginning or at the end. So you'll have a pre or post. Usually we do 2 nights. And that's great because other companies offer that as an option. Mayflower includes that for you. So we know that if you're going to go all that way, you're going to want to spend some more time and get as much history and culture in the areas that you're going to go and visit. So it's wonderful. So that's also already taken care of for
It's already in there.
Yeah, it's already in there.
Well, so you've got all kinds of different travelers, and so you've got that active traveler who's really excited about riding their bikes
Yeah.
or kayaking or whatever, and then you've got people who are like, yeah, I don't want to do that.
Right.
Especially maybe in Amsterdam, they're a little crazy there with their bicycles. Get ready. So you've got something for really everybody on this same ship.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. I would say that anyone that wants to have fun and enrich their lives with travel is our type of traveler. There is things available for our more active traveler, but then we also know that we have other types of travelers that need maybe a little bit more hand-holding, and we have our tour managers to take care of that. And it's wonderful because they are English-speaking in all the areas that we go and visit. Aside from having your tour managers, you also have local step-on guides, which makes all of the difference because these people live there, they know the area, they're proud of their area, and they want to share that.
You're going to see things that maybe the normal
Exactly.
tour would not see because he's
Absolutely.
going to take you to the things that he thinks are cool, which I think is important.
It is.
Yeah.
Very
Absolutely.
important.
So your typical traveler, I mean, different companies kind of have a market on certain groups of people. So who would be your typical traveler? Does it include like all families, children? What would be your typical scenario?
So I would say our main clientele is the mature adult. People that are looking to and have the time, to experience touring. So all of our tours, even though there is, we do city tours and walking city tours, everything is leisurely paced. Nothing is going to be, strenuous or anything like that. So I would say our main clientele is the mature adult. Some do bring grandchildren aboard. We do ask that, they're 8 years or older, especially on our program, say to Washington, D.C., or, the Albuquerque Balloon Fiesta, things like that, because we do offer a variety of different tours, not just our river cruises in Europe. You'll see more of, grandma and, their grandchildren traveling with them. Even abroad, I would say that's become more of, we're going to do
now.
like a graduation trip for,
Yeah.
their grandchildren,
I do see that.
Yeah. So it's kind of evolved a little bit.
Yeah, and it is a nice way to not worry about your meals and
Absolutely.
not worry about where you're going. You choose your route that you best connect with.
Right.
Yeah. Why do you think this has become so popular? Because it is now. I don't know when river cruising started, but it seems to be very, very popular at this point. What do you think? Why is it so popular right now?
I mean, I would say, there's three main reasons. One of them would definitely be convenience. On a river cruise, it allows you to unpack once. You're visiting multiple cities, multiple countries.
And you're not doing this.
No, it's not. No, it's very,
You're
very
not rocking it,
calm. It's
yeah.
a very serene way to travel. And I think that's what our, travelers are looking for. Second to that, I would say it's a very relaxed atmosphere. Everything is just very calm. You're kind of just going on these rivers and watching the landscape. All of our ships have the
people as you're going by,
panoramic.
yeah.
Right, exactly. You really get to take all of that in. Plus, our ships were designed for relaxation. I will say there's only 180 people on board, max. So it's a very intimate way to travel. And I think that people are looking for that. They're trying to get away from the hustle and bustle of life that we know here, and it's a great way to travel. I would also say that it's, the premium service. We like to be pampered. And on a river cruise, you definitely do get that. You definitely get that feeling. It's a very personalized way to travel. It offers our guests a very seamless experience from start to finish.
So it sounds like there's a broad selection.
Oh, yeah.
So how do people decide what itinerary? I mean, where would you suggest that people start? I mean, I think a lot of people start with maybe their heritage. My
True.
grandparents came from Austria. I want to go there, or Scandinavia, or whatever. But beyond that, how would they decide where they want to go?
Yeah. So we have, like I said, we do have our travel specialists that, people can call, our travelers call and kind of, talk about their bucket list or, where they're looking to go. If we're talking about a river cruise, I would say the first timer on a river cruise would be looking at something like the Danube. The Danube River is the second longest river in Europe, and it flows through 10 different countries. So there's a diverse range of different itineraries for the Danube. I would probably say that the classic Danube would be the best, best to start, absolutely. And that one takes you from Budapest to Regensburg, Germany. So you're going to visit, 5 different countries. Which is wonderful. Where else can you do that?
Check those off your list of I've been there.
Exactly. It's like done. Yeah. So it's wonderful. Have you ever done a river cruise?
I have.
Oh,
yeah.
you have.
Yes.
Okay.
And
so you can
what's
agree.
really nice about it is the leisurely pace, and you're usually pretty close to or right in the
City
town.
center.
And then
And you're
Absolutely.
like, you just step off and there you are, and you can take a guided tour if you want, or you don't have to if you don't want to. You
Right.
just walk around.
Yeah, in fact, our
yourself.
travelers, usually in the mornings, we do have our walking city tours after breakfast. And, like you said, it's a very short distance to the city center. You do your city walking tour. Usually everyone will come back to the ship because then lunch will be served, and they'd like to do that. Some stay and kind of do lunch on their own if they want to, or they'll come back onto the ship, have their meal, and then venture back out. And it's just a very wonderful experience because you are so close to the city center, you know, and it's nice to wake up and you're somewhere else, you know,
Yeah,
you kind of
that's-
sail. We do
yeah.
sail during the day as well, but a lot of it is done while you're sleeping. So you wake up and you're somewhere else. It's a floating hotel.
It is, and for those who are concerned about water, on a big cruise ship, you're in the middle of the ocean. On a river cruise, I always feel like, hey, I could swim to the shore, you know,
It's-
if worse
yeah.
come to
Yeah,
worse.
exactly.
Exactly. It's just like everyone says, you know, what side is better? You know, the right side of the ship, the left. It really doesn't
Doesn't
matter.
matter.
It doesn't matter because you're going to have landscape on both sides.
It doesn't matter.
So it's, you know, very panoramic. It's wonderful.
It is pretty great. So yeah, the Danube. There's just so many choices. And you even can pick out the countries that you want to go to if you're on the Danube. But there's so many other rivers that if you had another place you wanted to go, if you wanted to see more of, you know, Paris or
Right. And we have several itineraries that feature Paris. We have our Seine River Cruise. You know, so we sail along the Seine and visit Paris, and it's just absolutely wonderful. We also have our South of France tour. And actually, I just did that one this past October. I think I was there. And it was wonderful. The South of France is beautiful. It was a wonderful experience to see the variety of different rivers and the culture that comes along with it. You know.
It is, and it's a nice thing to see how other countries live. And
Yes. Yeah, that's a big thing,
it
I
is-
think, yeah.
And it also, you realize the similarities you have
Yes.
across the world with people, and I think that's a good thing.
The other big thing that I think Mayflower does so well is the tours here in this country. 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, bus tours. They arrange them so well. And sometimes older people, again, are looking for this, where they can just sit and watch the country go by.
Right.
Somebody else does all the work. I mean, they do great ones just right here besides Europe.
Oh, absolutely. And, you know, we offer tours, obviously, where we fly to the destination. We also have motor coach tours out of the Chicagoland area that people also, you know, enjoy. In fact, one of our most talked about tour is our mystery tour.
Oh, I think those are cool.
So
Yeah.
you don't know where you're going.
Oh my
In
gosh.
fact, our staff, I mean, obviously our operations department would
Knows,
know.
yeah.
But the sales department, we don't know where you're going. So, and we have travelers that, tried and true travelers that will take our mystery tour.
Just 'cause.
In the spring, summer, and fall. You know,
Wow.
and you just don't know. You don't know if you're going, you know,
South,
north,
north.
south, east, west, you know. And
That's
that's
cool.
certainly for those travelers that like a little bit of adventure and are just wonderful to go with the flow and visit different areas.
Well, that's kind of fun.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
is fun.
It's our
I would
mystery
say,
tour.
yeah, I
Kinda
think
fun.
that's really cool.
And you would
Yeah.
probably pick, I don't want to be gone for more than a week, or
Yeah, so they
Something
tend
like
to be closer to home. You know, shorter tours, maybe 4 or 5 days. So yeah, so they're, you know, we also offer longer tours, of course, if we're going to go somewhere like
Yes.
our Colorado, you know, historic trains or something like that. And that's another thing too. I mean, we have, like you mentioned, you know, we do have tours where you're at hotels maybe 2 nights, 3 nights, and you have to do that because if you want to, you know,
See all this.
everything, I mean,
Correct.
there's no other way to do it. But we also have our city stays. We have city stays in New York, Boston, you know, and wonderful. We have our New York Thanksgiving. So we'll see the Macy's Day Parade.
Huh,
Yeah, we
that's
fly to the
fun.
destination. You're just in the Big Apple and get to take in
And
the
it's
sights.
3 days.
Yeah.
And it's
And it's
not like,
right. It's 3,
Yeah.
4 days, 5
Well,
days.
and
It's-
somebody else is planning the hotel,
Yeah.
where you go,
Yeah.
where you're going to sit.
Exactly.
and
You have that
that's-
tour manager
yeah,
with you
that's
who's,
great.
you know, your personal concierge,
Yes.
basically. Plus, you know, like I said, you have step-on guides that are from the area and, you know,
I
they
think
know the
it's-
ins and outs. So it's
And they do such a
great way to
nice job
travel.
with it because they stop they'll go so far on the bus, then they'll stop for a while,
Yeah.
let everybody off, you know.
Right. We usually, I would say the motor coach stops every 2.5 hours, 2.5 hours, photo opportunities, potty breaks, of course, you know, things like that. So, and it's a nice way to travel as well because, you know, you are doing some sightseeing along the way, you know, so it's great. We have everything, something for everyone, you know.
I think that, you know, especially older people who have spent their life driving to their destination, and then they get to a point where I don't want to be the driver.
Right.
I don't want to figure it out, and the traffic
too much.
can be overwhelming at times. And so this is a nice opportunity for them to take a road trip, but they're not responsible for the road. You know, somebody else is.
They just, you know, get to enjoy, you know, and ultimately that's what it's about, you know. We want everyone to just have that seamless experience where, you know, you are traveling to a destination and everything's taken care of for you.
Yeah.
We do include on our land programs most of our meals. We do leave some out because we realize not everyone's going to want a full meal, you know, 3 times a
time,
day. We just don't eat that way anymore. And so, yeah, so you have the opportunity to do sightseeing. There's free time. It's just, you know, and there's free time, yet you have your tour manager that you can ask, hey, you know, where can we go? What can I do? Where can I go and eat? You know, and like I said, they really are your personal concierge. I mean, it's wonderful to travel with a tour manager. There's so many times, even here in the Chicago, you know, I've been raised here my entire life, you know, and when do I go and visit areas is when I have people coming into town, relatives or whatever, that want to go see the Bean or Buckingham. I can't really tell them much other than,
it's there.
here it is, right? But if I had a tour manager with me, they'd know everything and when it was built and why it was built and how it came about.
And
So
that's so interesting, too.
it is interesting.
I see that we have another, you know, so if you think about the Danube, a secondary favorite place is the Rhine River.
Yes, the Rhine is also, I would say that would probably either the Danube or the Rhine would be a first-time traveler, first-time river cruiser destination. On the Jewels of the Rhine, we offer it throughout the year. However, my favorite time is tulip time on the Rhine. Because you get to go to Kuchenhof Gardens, you see those wonderful tulips, just if you could imagine, as far as the eye can see. Of course, we've probably all experienced the
Holland,
one in
Michigan.
Holland,
Yes.
Michigan, but this is, of course, in a much greater scale. And you get to visit all these wonderful countries, you know, and river cruise along the way and be pampered, and, you know, it's wonderful. And that would be another one that I would definitely say would be great. It's an 11-day program. You do a 7-night cruise. And then, as I mentioned before, we do a pre or a post. And on this program, we offer 2 nights in Amsterdam. So you have some
that'd be
more
really
time.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah, you have more time to do some exploring on your own, you know, which is great. And
That would be cool.
yeah, and on both the
That's good.
Danube
Yeah.
and the Rhine, we are offering free airfare. So, I mean, you really can't go wrong with a product like that.
And so, really, Kathy would be the one, you know, to talk to about all of this and help you figure out a destination.
Absolutely.
Maybe you want to experience something close to home. Maybe you want to go across our own country. Sure. But maybe you want to do something a little more special, like a river cruise.
Right, exactly. You know, river cruising, like I said, has become
Very big.
very big, very big. Of course, there are other options for those, and I like that it's, you know, the tours that we have offer a variety. Like, as an example, if you have a train buff, we have our Colorado Historic Trains. You visit 5 scenic different trains. You know, we have event-style touring, you know, with the Albuquerque Balloon Fiesta, you know, the Tournament of Roses Parade, you know, in Pasadena we have every year. Things like that, you know, the Macy's Day Parade, just different itineraries for different people. And some do, you know, somebody, you know, does a motor coach tour. It doesn't mean that they don't do a river cruise. It's just, you know,
Different,
it's just different. It just depends on what
the
they're looking
person,
for.
What you want to do.
What you want to do. And, you know, luckily we have, like I said, our wonderful staff back in the office that are very well-versed, have been to a lot of these areas, not to mention that we have our operations department. You know, they're the ones that are putting the tours together. They're the ones that go and scout out the hotels, different, sightseeing, and all of our work with all of our vendors. So they are a wealth of information as well. So
And that's so important.
it's so important.
You wanna,
It really
you wanna
does
really
help
enjoy
us.
your trip.
Yes.
And have the best that you can have.
Yes.
So that's great.
Yep.
So okay, now if they want to hear more about this, because there's lots of other tours to do,
Quite a few.
what should they do?
So you can contact Kathy right here to my right. Of course, you can visit our website at www.mayflowercruisesandtours.com. It's a long one, but
It
I
works.
promise you it's worth it. Yeah. Our 2027 brochures are due out soon. So we're already selling into 2027. And if you want to request a brochure, you can go ahead and do that right on our website. You can certainly contact our office. Our number is 1-800-323-7604, extension 1. And someone would absolutely be thrilled to talk to you and get you the brochures and start, getting you in the mix of getting our different promotions and things like that we send out.
Sounds wonderful.
Yes.
And plan ahead. We always say that. Plan
Plan ahead.
Because you want the tour you want.
Exactly, especially on river cruising,
Yeah.
because river cruising, people are planning out at least a year in advance, which is what is recommended, 6 months to a year, sometimes even longer than that.
Yeah.
I get exactly what you want.
To get exactly
Yeah.
what you want, the cabin that you want, all of those great things, because they sell out pretty quickly, especially with free airfare. You can't go wrong with it.
You
It's a
cannot.
no-brainer.
No.
Yep, absolutely.
Well, thank you, Imelda, for
Well,
coming in
thank
today.
you so much for
Really
having me here
appreciate
today.
it.
This was
Yes.
a lot of fun. Thank you.
And I learned a whole lot, so this is great. Thanks, Kathy, for coming in today. And
Thank
if
you.
people need to call you or get over to Class Act Travel, what should
Please.
they do?
Hi there. Please come and see us at Class Act Travel. We're at 6946 West 111th Street, Suite 1 in Worth, sitting on the corner, 708-448-6560. We're open Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. If you need something later, you need a Saturday, just call us and we'll set it up with you. That's not a problem. Come and see us, and you can go on a Mayflower tour.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And thanks for watching us. We'll be back next month with another exciting adventure that you could plan. All right, thanks for watching. Bye-bye now.